is the approval of the minutes from the June 10th meeting. Those were circulated before. If there are no comments or changes or questions, I'll take a motion to approve as written.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, so moved. Claims were also circulated before to the board. They total $369,436.45. Biggest portion of that is the start payment of the principal and interest for the bond, the Riverton bonds. Any questions or comments on the claims? If none, I'll take a motion to approve and pay. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, so moved. Mr. Steinhardt, I'll turn it over to you for...
Yes, the financial report. If you look on page 8, I will I'll let you know that, and well, let's start on page, sorry. On page 4, let's start on page 4. You will see this report we started last fall. This one shows you the June settlement, which has been posted, about $1.3 million. You'll see that those amounts by allocation area, which we had to set up each account to account for that properly. You will note that North Madison Economic Development Allocation Area 39002, which is the Madison Plaza property, is starting to again bring in some nice revenue there. That's in the June settlement. So that we should be bringing in a couple $100,000 from the Madison Plaza this year, and that's the first assessment. So that should roll much higher next year as well. That would relate then to page 8 under the TIF revenue collections under the revenues. $1,318,039 was our spring settlement. And the one thing I would note is the bond proceeds just up there at $4,699,500 is actually deposited and should be in the right column. But that is the final settlement of the bonds. So the $4,699,500 has been deposited as in last month as well, and it just was reflected in the wrong column on this report.
Okay.
Too late for us to, with the holiday, Cole was on vacation, so.
Great.
I have nothing else to point out unless you have additional questions.
Any questions? Nope. Okay. Old business? Not on the agenda.
I have
I have one question real quick, and that is, it's just a question with Tony. Is the Ready grant for the amphitheater not coming through here? And we have the projected $2 million here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's next year.
Next
Okay,
year,
okay.
26.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
We anticipate drawing that down from Ready in 2026 when we did that last fall.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing on the agenda for old business or new business, so I'll turn it over to City Matters or Mayor Update.
All right, well, as Tony just went through on the financials, the financing is closed. And if you recall, and Jay, for your update here, really for the last 3 years, we've been talking about how do we optimize the revenue stream that's coming into the TIF district with an expiring allocation area of the North Madison allocation area. How do we optimize that so that we can leverage those dollars for our Ready grants, but also our housing initiatives, our infrastructure, our placemaking, all the key priorities for the Redevelopment Commission investments. And it finally closed there in mid-June, I think it did. So that really was a 2 or 3 year initiative that we kept honing in to the sweet spot, and we needed to align it with how to leverage it up for other dollars, but also how are we going to spend it. And thank you, Commission, for doing that, as well as City Council for approving the financing. In just a couple of weeks, we'll be kicking off, we'll have a groundbreaking for extremely important infrastructure investment the city's been working on with the Redevelopment Commission for years, and that is Main Street. Redevelopment Commission, I believe, has been making annual contributions for, I bet, 6 or 7 years, maybe longer, for our Main Street project. It's approximately $30 million, and we'll kick off the actual construction in just a couple of weeks, and that first phase begins at Broadway Street with the intersection at Broadway and to the east side of Mill Street. And then next year, we'll start at the top of Hanover Hill and come down to the Railroad Bridge. In 2027, we'll go from that termination point all the way up to Mill Street, and that'll complete about 75% of the Main Street project, which the city committed to in 2014 when it entered into the agreement to take over former State Highway 56 that went through the city. What that will leave and what we'll continue to design and prepare for and apply for grants for is the Central Business District. So that corridor will finally be complete. Once we arrange all of that, we'll probably need federal funding for it, for the Broadway to Jefferson Street corridor, and that's going to be the more difficult, most expensive. But all through that corridor, we're working on crosswalks, traffic lights, sidewalk replacement, stormwater, resurfacing, lighting, beautification, and of the highest priority is public safety. You're going to see with the design of the bump outs at the corners how we're improving public safety and calming the traffic, and all of that is happening in that Main Street corridor. So it's going to be an enormous undertaking, but a great investment with a tremendous return on investment by the community. But Redevelopment Commission has been a partner in that from the very beginning. But look for some announcements about a groundbreaking in just a few weeks. I want to mention too that if you look at your agenda, we kind of have a new format. So there was several state laws that went into effect July the 1st, and two there was a lot that affects the city, particularly on the budget side. But one was what disclosure happens at the agenda level. So you'll see that each of the commission members' names, the appointing authority, and their terms are now on the agenda. We also put on the agenda a link to the live stream of the meetings. That's also a state law requirement. So any public meeting that commonly occurs here in city council chambers, where all of our recording and streaming equipment is, will also be live streamed. And there are some exceptions. So if we're doing a remote meeting, or if there's a technical issue, or you don't have internet, you are required to record and archive. So those are two things that you probably saw on the agenda, your names and terms, as well as a link for the live streaming. And then all that information also gets it's static on our website. So those are two things I want to mention. And then last but not least, I know we're going to be talking about other things, but the other thing that we'll be doing soon, as our housing strategies really become more firm with our developer partners, is we still need to do an amendment to our redevelopment agreement, or redevelopment plan. We've amended that plan a few times since I've been mayor, but as we are embarking on our single-family subdivision on the Hilltop, we will need to amend the redevelopment plan to accommodate the specifics of that site in particular, because that will involve funding money in a specific area. And even though housing is a primary initiative, for that purpose, it needs to be more specific. So we'll share that information with you when we get it. But if Joe was here, he could describe it in more detail. But we will be amending the redevelopment plan, and then that really will start paving the way for the work that we've been planning for the next 3 to 5 years. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, but thank everybody for your hard work and all the investments we're making across the community.
Any questions, comments for the mayor or Tony? So no other questions for the mayor. Next on the agenda is public comment. Any public comments, questions? None, okay. Our next meeting is August the 12th. No other business before us. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. Thank you.